Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new PUBG video. In today's video we're going to be talking about my personal settings on PUBG PS4. So I'm going to go through what I think's best, and just a lot of you guys have been asking about it, so I thought I'd make a quick video. Also in this video I want to show you guys a quick way to make your graphics a little bit better if you've got a PS4 Pro. So if you guys do enjoy this video, as always, drop a like, it does help the videos out a lot. And subscribe if you guys do happen to be brand new here. I actually got a 20 kill win with these settings yesterday in solos, which I'm going to leave a link to at the end of this video. But without any further ado, let's basically get straight into it here. So movement sensitivity is the first thing I want to talk about here. As you can see, I've got my movement sensitivity up to 100. Now that might seem a little bit strange, but the reason I do that is because it doesn't actually affect your general sensitivity. It actually adjusts your character movement by the left stick. So basically whenever you toggle your left stick to run, if you have it up to 100, you don't have to press it as hard. Now secondly, let's talk about the controller button preset here. I go for type B. The reason I do type B, it's because you can hold L2 to aim down sights and L1 to do a over the shoulder aim basically, which I think is a lot easier. Type A, you have to tap it to aim down sights, and you hold L2 to do the over the shoulder aiming. So for me that is a lot better. Now talking a little bit about dead zone here. Basically dead zone is the controller input, so whenever you make a minor movement with your joystick, the dead zone will determine if it moves or not pretty much. So if you've got 100 dead zone, it'll be really hard to move, but if you've got a low dead zone, every single movement that you make will be picked up. So I've just left it on 10, I haven't messed with it. Obviously vibration turned off. Now for vertical sensitivity, I do recommend putting that down a little bit. It's easier to kind of overdo it with vertical sensitivity and vertical movement, so I do recommend putting that down in pretty much every game you play, but that is up to yourself. Personally, I put it in 85. In around 80 or 90 would be fine. Now, general sensitivity, vehicle sensitivity, I've got them both in 8. Obviously, general is just for turning and looting and all that kind of stuff. So just whatever you're comfortable with. The best thing you guys can do is just mess around with it and see what you feel like. Now, for aim acceleration, I've got this off, but if I was going to recommend aim acceleration to you guys, and just to give you guys an idea of what that does, it basically means that whenever you're moving your stick, it doesn't move as fast as it possibly can straight away. So it accelerates to the fastest rate. If it's on 10, it basically accelerates faster. And if it's on 1, it accelerates slower. So if you do want to use aim acceleration, if you don't want to, like, you know, have crazy movement, I definitely recommend putting it on like maybe 6 to 10, somewhere in that range. I wouldn't like to have it too low because you want to be able to turn quickly if you need to. But generally, I recommend turning that off. For me, it just messes with your muscle memory. And if you're used to flicking and doing something quickly, aim acceleration is going to mess it up for you. So I definitely recommend either turning it off or putting it up pretty much to 10 or as high as it goes. So for over the shoulder aiming sensitivity, I've got it on 10 here. And you'll pretty much see that most of my sensitivity is set on 10. It's a good idea to kind of, you know, keep a general sensitivity that you're used to. As you can see, the 8 times scope there, it's on 8, and the 15 times scope is on 11. Just minor adjustments that I made after playing. You know, I found that 8 times scope was a little bit too high, so put it down a little bit. And for the 15 times scope, because it's got such a high zoom, you do want that to be a little bit higher. I often see a lot of people just, you know, increasing the scopes by 1 each time. So like 1 time scope would be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, you know, in increments of 1 because of the higher zoom. So you want more sensitivity technically, but I like to keep everything kind of level, so that I know what kind of movements I can make quickly. So that is basically it for my aiming sensitivity. So moving on to gameplay, obviously English, reset to right shoulder. It really is, again, personal preference. If you guys want it to reset to the left, it can. If you want it to reset to the last one that you were using, there is an option for that as well. But I think personally, just having it reset to the right, you know, it doesn't mess with you too much. Now for colorblind, this is what affects your blood color, or just the color of stuff in general actually. So for example, Tritanopia will give you purple blood and purple smoke from the crate. The other two that aren't normal, Deuteranopia, Protanopia, whatever they're called, make it like kind of like a pinkish color. I don't recommend those because it's pretty hard to see. I would either go normal or Tritanopia, you know, unless you're colorblind, and then you probably want to go to whichever one applies to you. And, you know, cross our color red, there's a little slider there, you can adjust that. I've got music on, brightness up to 85%. Now I've actually got an Elgato game capture which allows me to put on saturation, so you guys might notice my game's a lot more colourful, and that is the reason why. Now one last thing I want to talk to you guys about is super sampling. If you go into video output settings on the PlayStation 4, as you can see here, you can turn on super sampling. Now basically what that does, as it says here, is improve the image quality when you're using less than 2K. I've tried this and it actually makes a huge difference for PUBG. I've noticed that the textures are a lot sharper. I hope the video does it justice. I'm going to try to compare the two here. Hopefully the recording does justice to it. If you do have a PS4 Pro, definitely try this. And if some of you guys were considering getting a PS4 Pro, it does actually make a huge difference having super sampling enabled. Generally, that just makes your texture sharper and better looking, and personally, it's made a huge difference to the experience in PUBG for me. It doesn't work in every game, but I definitely recommend turning on super sampling. I haven't really noticed any like negative performance effects. In PUBG, it's locked to 30 frames per second anyway, so it doesn't really make that much of a difference in performance. The quality looks a lot nicer and it adds kind of like an anti-aliasing to the game almost. So if you do have a PS4 Pro, 100% I recommend turning on super sampling. So that is pretty much it for my settings. A couple of things I want to recommend for you guys, just a few key bindings and a few things that a lot of people ask me is how do you heal without going into your inventory? If you press down on the D-pad, you can actually see a little toggle just above your health bar. You can see which healing item you've got active. You can toggle between those, and whichever one you decide, you can hold it. Hold down on the D-pad. You're able to use the healing item that you've got equipped. I recommend always keeping this on first aid because it's the one that you will probably need to use in a panic most. So make sure you have that setting on first aid all the time. Right on the D-pad is for grenades, and if you toggle right on the D-pad, you can toggle between the grenades instead of going into the inventory. Whenever you're scoping with a 6x scope, an 8x scope, or a 15x scope, you can hold R1 and use your left stick to toggle in and out, so you can kind of zoom in and out with those scopes. Sometimes I'll take a 4x scope or an 8x scope and turn them into a 3 or 4x with an assault rifle, which means you've got like the sniper scope, but you've got the less magnified zoom, which is really, really nice. I recommend trying that out. I recommend trying that out if you've got like an M16, a SCAR, any kind of assault rifle. Try the 6x scope with the 3x zoom. It is absolutely beautiful. I do recommend that a lot. And finally, for emotes, if you hold L1 and R1, that'll bring up an emote menu and you can do different emotes. But that is basically it for the guide. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Let me know if any of you guys copy my settings and have any better results. Or let me know if you guys think these are crazy settings, if you think they're stupid, if you think they're good or bad. Let me know in the comments below what you guys are personally running and what you guys would change. I'm probably not going to listen to you because I'm not going to listen to other people's settings. It's not going to help me, but I would be interested to know what you guys think. Drop a like in the video if you liked it, dislike it if you dislike it. We're on the way to 40,000 subscribers here, guys. If you are brand new, make sure you guys are subscribed, with the notifications turned on, of course, so that you never miss a stream or video. You can probably hear my son like laughing in the background, so he's doing good. But anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been King Plays. Good luck and peace out.